Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to Race 16 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Pennzoil 400 here at the Springfield Mile in Springfield, Illinois. We're now at the part of the Midwestern swing where this week, all tracks in Illinois. We got here, then on Wednesday it's at DuQuoin, and then we end the week off at Chicago Motor Speedway. But for now, we're here at the Springfield Mile dirt track. Fast dirt track, and also be ready to possibly see 5-wide racing. I am not exaggerating. We're going to see some crazy racing here today at Springfield. But before we get into all that, a quick recap of the top 10 and the point standings coming into the race today. Michael Norman took the points lead back after he finally broke a long winless streak and currently leads by 55 points over Daniel DK, 80 over Jay Jefferson, 90 over James Qualls, 120 over Kyle Matthews, 155 over both Cole Deaver and Keith Miller Jr., 210 over Scott Groverston, 245 over Melissa Alexander, and 265 over Laney Marino. With that said, let's take a look at the top 10 starting lineup for the race here today. Jonathan Zorline getting his first pole of the season, with Ricky Karaman starting next to him in second. Row 2, we have Shadow Called Racing teammates, Riley Henry and Dylan Jacobs. Row 2, Zachary Fitzwater, Melissa Alexander. Row 4, Keith Miller Jr. and Lauren Marino. And then Row 5, Daniel DK and Artur Castanha. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Pennzoil 400 at Springfield. All 40 drivers getting ready to come out of pit road for the one pace lap, so it looks like some cars might get some scrapes from pit road here, but luckily I put the pit frequency to just 1x, so we don't have to worry about that all the time. But yeah, I've done some testing with this track, and yeah, we could have a couple of cautions, but the racing, we're going to be in for one of the most exciting races of the season, as we might see 4, even 5-wide action here on a 1-mile dirt track. Pace car is pulled into pit road, so ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. It's time to boogity go racing. Zachary Fitzwater leading the first lap, and I believe that's the first laps he has really led in a race since winning the Daytona 500, so interesting change of pace for Zachary Fitzwater, and he's now looking to try and lead another lap, but Riley Henry got way up and got into the wall just a tad and lost a ton of spots. But yeah, look at how crazy this racing is. Let's go to helicopter view. Yeah, they are 5 wide back here. But somehow, someway, while a couple of cars can get up into the wall... Oh man, they were 6 wide for a second. 6 wide. And they're still keeping it together. But they're all racing each other hard and clean at the same time. Right now, Artur Castanha trying to use the outside lane to get the lead from Zachary Fitzwater. And it looks like it's going to happen as Artur will lead that lap. But Fitzwater coming in on the inside to try and get the lead back. And look at Keith Miller Jr. going for trying to make a third lane on the inside to make it 3 wide for the top spot. And Keith Miller Jr. has won on a short track this season back at North Wilkesboro, and he's looking to win on dirt here at this 1 mile dirt track here in Springfield, Illinois. But the action is just, it's hard to keep track of everything because everybody's just going at it for every spot imaginable. But right now, Artur Castanha hanging on to the lead by a slim margin over Zachary Fitzwater, but here comes Lindsay Snyder, who might be looking to go 3 wide for the spot. Or actually, she couldn't quite keep the momentum going on the inside lane. So for now, the top 3 have kind of gone single file. For now, that is. As the lap times are getting blazing fast, although Cole Deaver with the fastest lap out of 27.568. But now, Zachary Fitzwater and Lindsay Snyder trying to get underneath the 20, but the 20 car just, ever since he used the outside lane to make the move to get past Fitzwater for the lead, he's just been up there ever since. And so far we are still clean and green, but we're seeing some new contenders enter the fray. Melissa Alexander in the 78 looking to try and use the outside lane for herself and see if she can do what Artur did and try and pick off spots up there. So far, she's making it work past Lindsay Snyder, although she went way too high on the track and now lost a spot or 2. So it depends on if you're going to try and go to the outside of somebody for a pass. You don't want to be too high on the track, otherwise you'll lose a ton of momentum. You probably want to be in like a lane where Artur Castanha is, like towards the bottom, but like middle bottom, so to speak. As he's able to just make that lane work as I'm watching it via helicopter cam. So he's like in the middle to the bottom. So I would say there's 5 lanes. There's the very low lane, middle low, middle high, and high. And Artur seems to be one to run the middle low lane to kind of keep some momentum going. And you can definitely tell the speed difference, especially when cars are trying to make moves on the very bottom of the track. They tend to lose a little bit of speed as a result. Now we got a battle on for second between Zachary Fitzwater and Lindsay Snyder, as Lindsay's looking to try and still use the bottom to make a move, but now Fitzwater going to finally do the smart thing and try and run that middle bottom lane right along with Artur Castanha and see if he can maybe get a move to, or make a move to get past to get the lead back. Meanwhile, look at this giant hornet's nest from 4th on back, led by Alex Hoover, and these guys are about a second behind Artur Castanha, so this is exactly what the top 3 like, is those guys racing hard behind them while they continue to pull away slowly but surely. Although Riley Henry, who started in the top 5, has fallen way back. And there's even some damage to Jesse Turner's machine. Maybe them two got into it, and now they're just off the pace now as a result. As I'm looking around, and the racing is just really intense from 4th on back. As they are now 2 seconds behind the top 3, as right now it's between Castanha, Fitzwater, and Snyder for the top spot. As these guys are racing each other pretty well, but pretty clean. For the most part. Nobody can get a leg up on the 20 though, because ever since Artur took the lead, he's just able to run the lane he's comfortable with, and nobody's really tried to match him in that department. But either way, they continue to pull well far ahead over 4th place, as it's now almost 3 seconds between 1st and 4th. But the real action right now is happening from 4th on back, as they are still racing 5 wide. Look at this group. Like, everybody just trying to maneuver out of the way, jockeying for position, as drivers are just making some daring moves. 5 wide again back here, with Jordan Forbes right in the very middle of it all. And this is the kind of action you wish you could see all the time. Oh, some contact. Drivers trying to give each other room to maneuver around to make moves. And then all that happens. But yeah, this is just incredible, incredible sight to behold, to see all this happening. 5 wide, 4 wide action. Even the occasional 6 wide. you know, on corner entry. And there's still 5 wide back here. Whoa, contact. Oh, wow, how have they not wrecked? Lisa Nelson just bouncing off of Lauren Marino and I believe William Brock, and somehow did not crash. I am blown away as to how well these drivers are handling their cars and catching them and avoiding any possible damage. But I feel like we may not see that last for too much longer, as meanwhile they're still losing ground to the top 3. Although Lindsey Snyder has actually lost a ton of ground to the top 2, so now Artur Castanha and Zachary Fitzwater are off on their own, as they are now catching Riley Henry to get ready to put him a lap down. Could this actually help Fitzwater? That's the big question. And look at Fitzwater go! Diving it to the inside. And he's going to take advantage of that lapped car. Or I thought he was going to take advantage, but I guess somehow, someway, Artur Castanha just really knows how to drive his car on that middle low lane to keep the spot, no matter what kind of move Zachary Fitzwater thinks about pulling on him. Now we've got the biggest margin of the lead we've had all race at a little over 4/10 between the top 2. That, or perhaps just Fitzwater just couldn't carry that momentum he had of trying to run the inside while getting by the slower car of Riley Henry. But now Lindsey Snyder has really fallen off the pace as a result. As meanwhile, Artur Castanha just continues to run under 28-second lap times. Man, look at them lap times. Scott Groverson with the fastest at a 27.398. 1/1000 faster over Quentin Moore's lap time. Drivers are really blazing in the lap times, or at least they were at the beginning. But yeah, Artur Castanha looking to go en route to try and get the most laps led bonus points. And Artur comes in 34th in points. He is well behind, 390 points behind 30th in points. But in just his, prior to this race, in his 6 starts he made, half of his starts he's gotten a top 10 every single time with an average finish of 16.1. So despite missing more races, he's definitely shown a lot of promise to try and get to victory lane. Could today be the day? As remember, they will not be coming into pit road. It's really just a matter of who can stay out there the longest. But they got another slow car they're going to deal with eventually, and that's Jesse Turner. But Zachary Fitzwater not too far off behind, though his lap times are slightly slower than Artur Castanha's. Let's see here at the line between the two. Actually, Fitzwater was 4 thousandths faster than the 20 car. Meanwhile, Lindsey Snyder is now blended in with everybody else back here. That's 6.5 seconds behind the leader, as they are still at racing no holds barred with each other. Daniel Voiles, whoa, Norman got really loose on corner entry and almost took out Daniel Voiles and Lindsey Snyder. But somehow they are still keeping it together up here at the front of the field. And now Artur Castanha has taken care of Jesse Turner and has now put him a lap down. Next car it looks like they may encounter is Seth Cole. But Seth Cole, he's a good distance back. Some damage to James Quall's machine. Looks like he might have got into it with somebody. Probably a little too hard in this crazy race. And I'm shocked we haven't had a caution come out yet, because given the fact of how these drivers are racing 4 and 5 wide, you would think something has to give at some point, and somehow we've avoided that like the plague. How this is happening is beyond me. But anyways, the battle on for third between Daniel Voiles and Lindsey Snyder. And now somehow Artur Castanha's lead has grown to 1.5 seconds over Fitzwater. I guess Fitzwater might have used up everything he had, so looks like Artur Castanha, as long as no caution comes out, looks like he may very well be on his way to victory lane. Because ever since he took the lead and he's just been running a smart lane on the track, nobody's been able to challenge him. And now Zachary Fitzwater's lap time's almost a full less than a full second slower than Artur Castan has. So I can definitely tell that Fitzwater has used up everything he has. Although Artur, I'm shocked that he's still not had any worn tires. Meanwhile, I have a feeling Fitzwater's tires are just really, really shot. As he continues to run slower, now to 3.5 second advantage for the 20 car. Meanwhile, everybody back here is running way faster than the 12. And actually running on par with Artur Castan has. So these guys are maybe hoping for a quick caution. And maybe we could see some craziness for the battle for the win possibly. But so far, somehow, no cautions despite some damaged race cars. Meanwhile, Dylan Young, we're going to probably just stay up here with this battle going on for third on back, because this is the insane stuff going on as Dylan Young and Charles Belding are battling it out for third as they are slowly catching Zachary Fitzwater's machine. And I thought we might have had a wreck happen, but I guess that wasn't the case. I still am surprised we haven't had a caution, because in the testing I've done for this race, there was at least 2, maybe 3 cautions per attempt I did. Somehow we've avoided it like insane. Meanwhile, back here, battle going on for 36 between Qualls, Karaman, and Seth Cole. Although eventually Artur Castan is going to end up encountering these three, and if these three continue to race it out and Artur gets stuck behind it and is running slow, that could help guys from second on back catch up to him, but I don't know, I ain't going to hold my breath on that. Because Artur's lead just continues to grow to monumental proportions for a dirt track race. Meanwhile, look at Michael Norman, the points leader, going very strong up here at the top 5, trying to get up to third. Trying to follow up, trying to follow up that win at IRP from this past Friday in hopes of getting a good run. I think we're under caution now. Caution is out. And it's Melissa Alexander, 9th in points. Major front-end damage for Charles Belding. Looks like a brutal accident happened between those two, because both of those cars were totaled. Especially Charles Belding, but this was the break that the drivers from second on back needed to try and contend with Artur Castan. That was not what the 20 car wanted. He was comfortable with almost an 8-second advantage. Now that advantage has been swiped clean. But let's go ahead. I'm surprised it took this long for a caution to come out, but let's take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Springfield. Well, here's a look at what happened. So like I said, I'm surprised it took this long for a caution to come out, but watch the 16 of Rafael Leduc. He gets really, really loose, and he ends up getting into the inside wall, and Daniel DK is trying to make moves to get past Laney Marino and Melissa Alexander. DK and Leduc make contact. Leduc gets the wall again, comes back up into Daniel DK, up into Melissa Alexander, and then eventually up into Charles Belding. And look at the hits the 91 and the 78 are going to take. Very hard hits into the Armco wall, as Leduc gets into the wall pretty hard, and then Jesse Turner making contact as a result. And how not more cars were involved in this, I'm impressed. But that's not all. This is where the big stuff's going to come in, as Charles Belding, as he's got some major front end damage, probably more than likely not going to be able to continue, at least at this moment. It's going to get confirmed here in just a few minutes, as we're going to rewind just a tad. So he's going to be coming into pit road, but with how the pit wall is jetted out just a tad, and Belding's, I guess something went on with the throttle and he just was not slowing down. And then you're going to see him impact this pit wall. And look at how hard this is. brutal impact. The front bumper completely flying out of that car. William Brock did a great job to avoid the 91. And then the 78 of Melissa Alexander is going to come in and narrowly avoid hitting the 91. That could have been a much worse situation had she not stopped right there. Otherwise, Belding would have had a triple whammy. But let's go back and see how it all started one more time. So yeah, back to the helicopter camera. You see the 16 of Leduc. He's running really low on the track, gets the wall ever so slightly, and then gets tight. Up in the DK, they make contact, which sends Leduc back into the wall, back up into DK, up into Melissa, and then up into Belding, and then the 78 and the 91. Brutal hits into the outside wall. Jesse Turner with a side swipe. Even a little side swipe for Caleb Kilburn. And then Charles Belding not slowing down coming into pit road. And then he's going to have a vicious impact at the end of this pit wall, knocking the front bumper completely out of this car. How it didn't impale through the firewall, I'm flabbergasted, but brutal wreck to bring out the caution here at Springfield. But let's take you to, actually we're going to take a couple of onboard shots with this crash. On board with Jesse Turner, who did get a piece of it, and he's going to see it happen in front of him, and watch how he narrowly avoids disaster. Unbelievable job by that 17 car. On board with Charles Belding, warning this is going to be hard. 2 brutal impacts. Here comes number 1. Wham! And yet somehow still driving the car, but then here comes whammy number 2, and the harder of the 2, in fact. Car completely dead. Well, after that first caution, to no surprise, we got 2 cars out of the race, and they include Melissa Alexander and Charles Belding. Riley Henry and Jesse Turner are still 1 lap down, but we got 38 cars on track, 36 on the lead lap. Dominant car of the day, Artur Castanha with the lead. Second is Zachary Fitzwater. Third, Michael Norman. Fourth, Quentin Moore. Fifth, Dylan Young. Sixth is Laney Marino. Seventh, Alyssa Drayson. Eighth, Ryan Acosta. Ninth, Dylan Poteet. 10th, Matt McIntyre. Then the rest of the top 20 is Jonathan Zorline, Jordan Forbes, Dylan Jacobs, Jay Jefferson, Lauren Marino, Daniel Voiles, Cody Lamas, Jessica Sheldon, Patrick Smith, and Alex Hoover. Then Carson Gunn, Daniel DK, Henry Sanford, Alex Ferranti, Caleb Kilburn, Lindsey Snyder, Rafael Leduc, Keith Miller Jr., Kyle Matthews, Lisa Nelson, and then William Brock, Scott Groverston, Cole Deaver, Seth Cole, James Qualls, and Ricky Carman on track. Green flag is back out here at Springfield. The chance for drivers to make moves to try and get to the front, as Artur Castanha still leads, but Zachary Fitzwater really trying to work his magic and try and get past the 20 car. But it looks like the 20 is resorting back to what he was doing earlier, and that's run that middle low lane. As the top 2 starting to pull away from third just a little bit. Although Dylan Young looking to try and make something happen. And here comes more contenders. Laney Marino looking to make some magic. Again, Fitzwater, just without that extra help, he's just not able to get to the 20 car. Although now with Dylan Young slowly reeling in the top 2, it could turn into a 3-car fight for the win. Laney Marino and Ryan Acosta and company looking to try and make some noise for themselves, and now we're about to see some fast lap times again. Things are getting pretty dicey now, and look at Dylan Young trying to go to the very bottom, but it's going to cost him a little bit. Cost him big time, in fact. As the laps continue to wind down here at Springfield, Artur Castanha has led, I think he's led every lap except for 2 in this race, and that was the first 2 laps led by Zachary Fitzwater, and we're under caution again. Riley Henry with some major damage. Alex Hoover, and looks like Alex Ferranti, Patrick Smith, maybe even Carson Gum. Looks like another multi-car accident, so we're going to have to reset them again. But Artur Castanha still leading the way here at Springfield. So we're going to take a look real quick to find out what brought the caution out for the second time today here at Springfield. So all of this starts here on the back straightaway going into turn 3. Riley Henry's on the very bottom, and Cody Lamas is trying to go to the bottom of the track to try and make some moves. And what's going to happen is Riley Henry's trying to come up in front of Cody Lamas to clear him, but didn't have him quite clear, and he comes up into Lamas, up into Hoover, Gums, Smith, Ferranti, Henry Sanford, and Mayhem. And whoa, Alex Hoover got hit pretty hard in the driver's side and went up on 2 wheels for a moment there. So this was a bigger wreck than what we had with that first caution in terms of more cars being involved. And Alex Hoover going up on 2 wheels. And again, he and his teammate Alex Ferranti just cannot catch a break, it seems, in any race that they run nowadays. But yeah, about a good 6-car crash, 7-car incident in turns 3 and 4 brings out the caution for the second time. Let's take you to what could be our final restart here at Springfield. Well, after that second caution, 2 more cars are out of the race. Alex Hoover and Riley Henry will now make that Alex Ferranti, so we got pretty much the bottom 5 set in stone now. But anyways, Artur Castanhas still leads the way. Zachary Fitzwater 2nd, Dylan Young 3rd, Ryan Acosta 4th, Dylan Poteet 5th, Laney Marino 6th, Quentin Moore 7th, Michael Norman 8th, Jonathan Zorley 9th, 10th is Alyssa Drayson. Then the rest of the field: Daniel Voiles, Lauren Marino, Jay Jefferson, Matt McIntyre, Dylan Jacobs, Jordan Forbes, Daniel DK, Lindsey Snyder, Caleb Kilburn, Jessica Shelton, Cody Lamas, Lisa Nelson, Keith Miller Jr., Rafael Leduc, Cole Deaver, William Brock, Ricky Carman, Scott Roverston, Seth Cole, Carson Gum, Kyle Matthews, James Qualls, Patrick Smith, and Henry Sanford, with Jesse Turner 1 lap down somewhere else in the field. Going to be final 3 laps. Does anyone have anything for Artur Castanhas? Zachary Fitzwater had a great restart. Got to the back bumper of the 20, but Dylan Young, it looks like he had a better restart, but he's going to cost himself a little bit as he tries to go to the very bottom again, and he just keeps getting loose off of the corners. Just double checking to make sure we were still clean and green. 2 more laps left here at Springfield. Artur Castanhas still going to try and hold off the Young Motorsports teammates of Fitzwater and Young, and here comes Fitzwater with a big push from Dylan Young. But again, Artur just running that preferred middle bottom lane to keep the spot. These guys are going to have one more chance as the white flag is about to be displayed for Artur Castanhas, who has dominated this race. White flag is out here at Springfield. Dylan Young trying to run the very bottom again, try and get up to second and also get to the 20 car. He's hanging on side by side with the 12. He's going to have one final shot here in 3 and 4, but I still don't think it's going to be enough. As we're getting ready to come out of turn 4 for the final time. Checkered flag waving, total domination. Artur Castanhas is going to win the Pennzoil 400. Oh, and we just won the world. Artur Castanhas wins here at Springfield, and we got mayhem happening after crossing the finish line as Lindsey Snyder went barrel rolling past the start-finish line. That was really bizarre. They all just suddenly, it's like they just suddenly and spontaneously combusted and just started wrecking, but the race is over. Artur Castanhas, dominating fashion, wins the Pennzoil 400. But let's look at the rest of the results. Dylan Young, who came out swinging at the end, but just couldn't quite make it work, but still finishes in a strong second place. Only his second top 10, top 5 of the season. Zachary Fitzwater, his first top 5 since winning the Daytona 500 at the beginning of the year, as he finishes in 3rd. Michael Norman continuing good momentum on his side, finishing in 4th. Jonathan Zorley with a great run in the 5th position. Ryan Acosta, solid run in 6th. Dylan Poteet with a great run in the 7th spot. Lainey Marino continuing momentum on her side, finishing in 8th. Quentin Moore with a solid run in the 9th spot. And then Lindsay Snyder with yet another top 10 to her credit, finishing in 10th, as they still are wrecking after the race. Anyways, there's your top 20, top 30, and of course the bottom 5 for this week is Alex Ferranti, Alex Hoover, Riley Henry, Melissa Alexander, and Charles Belding. So that does it for our coverage here today at the Springfield Mile. Next race as the Illinois portion of the Midwest Swing continues as we head to DuQuoin next. But until then, here is Artur Castanha's Victory Burnout and the point standings heading into DuQuoin. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.